Hello everyone, I am Ellen May M. Bautista.
Jubilin Pascua.
Stephanie de la Cruz.
I am Stephanie Gaitos.
Balakot Micaela. Shaina Roca po.
Jefferson Bautista.
John Mark Uminga.
Francis John Galiboso.
Today we are assigned to report the Module 11, which is the average and FIFO method. But before we start, may I indicate the subtopics of this chapter, which is the definition of FIFO and average method, differences between FIFO and average method, characteristics of FIFO and average method, computation of equivalent production, unit cost, and cost allocation. Next slide. So, I will discuss the definition of FIFO and average method. Next. FIFO method, or what we call first in first out method, is one of the most commonly used method to calculate the value of inventory and cost of goods sold during an accounting period. The FIFO method assumes that inventory purchased or manufactured first is sold first, and that the newest inventory remains unsold. So, the cost of the older inventory is assigned to the cost of the goods sold, and the cost of the newer inventory is assigned to ending inventory. Characteristics. The work in process beginning in the department will require separate computations for its equivalent production. The units started, completed, and transferred will have its own computation for the equivalent production. Next. Next is the average method, which average costing is used to track inventory costing via average cost, or by averaging the cost of all the quantities that are in stock divided by the total cost of those purchases. The average costing method takes the last purchase of on-hand stock and any prior purchases, in order until all quantities are accounted for. This average cost is then posted when the item is sold. It doesn't change until a new purchase at a different cost is made. Characteristics. In computation of the equivalent production, the stage of completion of the work in process beginning is ignored, and the total units completed and transferred during the period is considered to have 100% completion. Next, reporter.
Next slide po. And we have a difference between FIFO and average. Next. So letter A is computation of production. First is FIFO. Work done last month on the units in process, beginning is considered. The work done needed to make the work in process 100% is the work done assigned for the current month. So, ang FIFO or tinatawag nating first in, first out. Ito po ay isang paraan na ginagamit to calculate production equivalent units. Sa FIFO, ang gawaing ginawa sa mga unit na nasa proseso from the previous month is taken into account. In essence, FIFO considers the work done in the previous month as 100% completed work. Ibig sabihin po nito na ang lahat ng gawaing ginawa in the previous month ay kinukonsider kapag kinakalculate ang katumbas ng production. Second is average. Work done last month on the units in process, beginning is ignored and not considered in the computation of of the equivalent production. So, unit na nasa proseso mula sa nakarang buwan ay binabaliwala. Hindi po ito kinoconsider sa pagkakalculate ng katumbas ng production. Ang tanging kinoconsidered lang po is the work done in the current month. So, ang pagkakaiba po ng FIFO and average is, ang FIFO includes the work done in the previous month, while average only considers the work done in the current month for calculating equivalent production. Next reporter po.
I will discuss the computation of unit cost. Number 1, the formula of FIFO. Current period cost over equivalent units of current work done. First, what is current period cost? Typically refers to the expenses incurred during a specific reporting period to carry out a particular project or manufacturing process, are directly associated with the production or completion of work within the accounting period. Equivalent units of current work done refers to the partially completed units of work in process. Number 2, the formula of average. Average equals cost in beginning inventory plus current period cost over equivalent units in beginning inventory plus equivalent units of current work done. Cost in beginning inventory refers to the expenses associated with the units of work in progress or partially completed products from the previous accounting period. Equivalent units in beginning inventory. It denotes the partially completed units present at the beginning of the current period, for which the incurred costs are used to determine the equivalent number of fully completed units. Next reporter.
C. Computation of the cost of goods transferred out and the cost of ending inventory. Using FIFO, the cost of goods transferred out equal the sum of the following three items. A. Cost already in the beginning inventory at the beginning of the period. B. The current period cost to complete beginning inventory, which equal the equivalent unit to complete beginning inventory times the current period unit cost computed for FIFO. C. The cost to start and complete units calculated by multiplying the number times the current unit cost computed. Using FIFO, the cost of good in ending inventory equals the equivalent unit in ending inventory times the unit current cost. Using weighted average, the cost of goods transferred out equal the total units transferred out times the weighted average unit cost. Using weighted average, the cost of goods in ending inventory equal the equivalent unit in ending inventory times the weighted average unit cost. Next reporter, please.
Step for assigning process cost to units. First step, summarize the flow of physical units. Second, compute the equivalent units produced. Using FIFO, this means adding equivalent units of work done to A. Complete the units in beginning inventory. B. Start the complete units. C. Work on units still in ending inventory. Next reporter.
Summarize the total cost to be accounted for. The total cost to be accounted for are the cost in the beginning, work in process, inventory, and current period cost. Number 4, compute cost per equivalent unit. To compute cost per equivalent unit, you would need to divide the total cost incurred by the number of equivalent units produced. Next reporter.
The following illustration refers to the operation of LMN company for the month of August 22. Units in process August 1, 40%, 1,000. Received from Department 1, 8,000. Completed and transferred, 8,200. In process August 31. 20%, 800. So, tatandaan nyo po yung 20% kasi mahalaga yan mamaya. Tapos, sa cost naman, meron tayong in process na 13,500 para sa cost from preceding department at 9,000 para sa materials, 5,036 para sa conversion cost. Tapos, sa cost in August, meron tayong 81,000, 72,000, 83,580. Tapos, materials in this department are added 100% at the beginning of the process. Next page po. So, nandito yung illustration. Meron tayo ditong units in process beginning, units received, units completed, units in process end. So, meron tayo dito 1,000 actual plus yung unit received na 8,000 equals to 9,000. Tapos, na-complete natin siya ng 8,200. Sa materials, meron tayo ditong work done tsaka equivalent production. Dahil natapos natin yung 8,200, equivalent production natin is 8,200 pa rin. Tapos, ganun din sa labor at overhead. Pero dito sa panghuli, kung mapapansin nyo, 20% yung sa may bandang labor dun sa work done natin kasi di pa siya tapos. So, paano nakuha yung 160? Kasi 800 times 20% equals to 160. Up. Mas pag total nyo na lang. Cost charged to the department. So, meron tayo ditong cost from preceding department na 13,500. Yung nasa first page kanina ay, hindi ko na matandaan. Yung sumunod lang dito na page. Tsaka in process in August 1 na 81,000. Pag-add nyo lang, makukuha yung 94,500. So, wag nyo munang pansinin yung 10.50. Tatalakayan mamaya sa susunod na reporter. So, cost added in the department in process August 1. Meron tayong 9,000. Materials, 5,036. At saka yung mga added during the month, meron tayong materials na 72,000 at labor and overhead na 83,580. So, ganun pa rin, huwag nyo pa rin pansinin yung 9 at 10.60. So, meron tayo ditong total, pag pinag-plus yung 9,000, 5,000, 72,000, at saka 83,500, makukuha ang 169,616. Tapos, total cost niya is 964,116. So, next reporter, please.
Computation of average method. So, paano po nakuha yung 246,820? Ito lang po yan. 8,200 times 30.10 is equals to 246,820 completed and transferred. Then next po, ito naman pong 8,400 na cost from preceding department is 800 times 10.50 is equals to 8,400. Tapos ito naman pong materials na 7,200 is 800 times 9 is equals to 7,200. Tapos ito naman pong overhead na 1,696 is 800 times 20% na complete po is equals to 160. Then 160 times 10.60 is equals to 1,696. Then dito naman po sa computation of unit cost from proceeding department na 13,500 plus 81,000 divided by 9,000 is equals to 10.50. Then dito naman po sa materials is 9,000 plus 72,000 divided by 9,000 is equals 99. Labor and overhead 5,036 plus 83,580 divided by 8,360 is equals to 10.60. Then dito naman po sa journal entries ng weighted average. Number 1, debit to work in process department 2 for 81,000. Then credit to work in process department 1 81,000. And dito naman po sa number 2 is debit to work in process department 2 155,380. Then credit to materials 72,000. And credit to payroll factory overhead applied 83,580. Number 3, debit to finished goods 246,820. Then credit work in process department D 246,920. Next reporter po.
So, ang i-discuss ko ngayon ay 5.2. Nakikita nyo ba yung sa screen? So, ito yung Element Company Cost of Production Report noong August 31, 2022. So, we have a quantity. Units and yung actual natin ng units in process beginning is 1,000. Tapos yung units received naman natin is 8,000. So, total niya is 9,000. So, yung units completed naman is inventory process natin is 1,000. Then, paano nakuha yung 7,2? So, yung 7,2 is nakuha natin sa 7,2. So, ito yung record and complete natin. Then, yung unit in process naman natin is unit in process ending is 800. So, paano nakuha yung mga percentage nito? Kasi as you can see naman, yung work done complete is 100%. Pasensya na, medyo maingay kasi yan. 100%. So, total niya nung equivalent production niya is 7,2. Tapos, sa unit in process naman, sa ending, 800, 100% sa work done niya, equals equivalent production niya is 800. So, total niya is 8,000. So, dito tayo magkakatalo-talo sa labor and overhead. So, yung work done niya is 60%. Paano nakuha yung 60%? So, pwedeng pa ko yun sa slide. Yung sa ano yun? China, pwedeng pa ko yun sa slide. Ito, 60% yun, no? Di ba 40% yung complete? So, paano nakuha yung 60%? Yung parang 40%, 100% less mo ng 40%. So, nakuha yung 60%. Kasi yun nabalik na sa slide. Yun sa dati. Yun yung nakuha yun. So, ito naman sa 7,2, kasi wala nang problema dito kasi 100% complete. So, parang down na lang natin dito yung 7,2. So, sa sa work done naman sa labor and overhead, sa 20%, 800 siya, 800. So, paano ko yung 20%? So, balik na naman tayo doon sa una. 20% nun. Yan, in process, August 31. So, 20% lang yung complete. So, 20% ng 800 is, yun nga, 160. So, balik natin ulit doon sa slide na yun. To that department. So, we have a cost and process beginning which is 27,536. Hindi ko na ikakuan kasi given naman nito nasa task kasi yun eh. Medyo komplikado kung kasi online tayo. Tapos we have a cost from deciding department is 81,000. So paano nakuha yung 10.125? So ito 81,000 tas dinivide ko lang sa 800. So nakuha yung 10.125. So yung we have materials naman na 72,000. So paano nakuha yung 9 pesos? So dinivide ko ulit siya sa 8,000. So nakuha yun. So sa kwan naman sa meron naman tayong ditong labor and overhead. So 83,580. So dinivide ko siya sa 7,960. Then nakuha yung 10.50. Sa total cost added naman, so yan, pinag-add lang natin yung materials and labor and overhead. So nakuha natin yung total ng 155 and 580, which is cost added in the department. So para nakuha yung 19.50, so yun lang, pinag-add lang natin yung materials na 9.0 na unit cost and labor and overhead na unit cost na 10.50. Then nakuha natin yung 19.50 na total. Sa total cost to be accounted naman, we have at 264.116. So baka nakuha yun. Then inad lang natin yung 155 na total ng cost added in the department. Then inad natin yung 81,000 which is cost from presiding department. Tapos inad ulit natin yung cost in process beginning which is 27,536. So total lahat na ay 264,116. Then parang ganun din lang sa cost unit. Para nakuha yung 29,625. Kaya ganun din lang yung process. Tapos ikaw naman tayo dito sa journal entries. So ang unang journal entries natin dito is work in process department 2 which is 81,000. So makita natin dito below. Ay above pala. Above ng one slide natin. Which yung second journal entries FIFO method. So yung unang journal entries natin dito is work in process department 2 which is 81,000. Then credit natin sa work in process department 1 81,000 para maging balance. So sa journal entry naman sa FIFO method, pangalawang journal entry natin is work in process department 2 which is 155,580. Ito yung total cost added in the department. Tapos yung materials naman natin which is 72,000 kredihan. Tapos yung payroll factory overhead applied natin which is 83,000. Nakita natin dito the total cost payroll factory. Yan. Payroll factory 83,000. Yon, above the total cost added in the department. So balance, pag inad mo yung 72,000 and 83,580, magiging balance sa work in process department 2 which is 155,580. Sa finished goods naman natin, so yung last entry natin is finished goods which is 246,820. So para maging balance siya sa department B which is 246,820. So nagkaroon lang dito 820 yan. So yun lang. Para maging balance yung journal entry natin sa number 3. That's all.